You know what's got me thinking? Why do the feminists really hate MRAs and MGTOW? Always got me scratching my head. It always seems a bit over the top and crazy, don't you think? I mean, they're just guys looking out for rights that guys don't have or problems that guys have. I mean, don't you think that trying to raise awareness of, the problems with the prison sentencing and suicide is a noble cause? But since where did all the hate come from? I mean, like, it seems to me like MRAs come like, doop, 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 hey, men have issues too, and next thing you know, the feminists like, no, you do not have fucking problems. You have patriarchy. You are privileged. You should check it, shitlords. And then, next thing you know, we're in the middle of a culture war. When there didn't really need to be a culture war, there just needed to be a discussion, a conversation. But that's not happening because when you deal with these people, such as social justice warriors, you're not going to get discussion. You're going to get a la 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 la, me, basically. And even though I've tried to think for ages, I'm thinking maybe because MRAs are kind of polar opposite to the feminists, but really, they're kind of, I'm not saying this as an insult, I'm just saying technically they're kind of two sides of the same coin. They're both kind of involved in identity politics, only one's for women and one's for men. And yes, actually I'll get to that in a minute. I was just about to talk about the dictionary definition. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, the MRAs haven't really said anything that's remotely misogynist in their sorted goals. I mean, there's obviously misogynists in it, such as there's misandrists in the feminist camp. But really, most of them are just kind of normal guys trying to, highlight issues that they're passionate about, and the feminists are the same. Yet, still, where's all hostility coming from, the feminists? Doesn't make sense. Like, surely they, of all people, know what it's like to be a fringe group attacked by everyone, surely, right? But that's the thing, they've become the mainstream, so now they're going to attack anything that is a perceived threat. And bear in mind, everything is perceived with feminists and social justice warriors. There's hardly anything that's actually there trying to destroy them. So the MRAs are a useful scapegoat, mainly for the third wave feminists, because they've got nothing to fight, have they? At least with the second wavers, they had to fight for abortion, they had to fight for reproductive rights, contraception, etc. etc. The list goes on in the 60s and 70s. Equal pay, of course, that's an example. And now that they got it in a very short amount of time, at least third wave feminists are like, well, what do we do? So they've attacked the MRAs and to a lesser extent MGTOW, but MGTOW is more of an individual thing, really. So now, surely, if we go by the dictionary definition of feminism, we know that it's meant to be equal rights for everyone, and that feminists are there to fight for everyone's rights. But then, when you look at the actual actions of the group, that's not the case. Otherwise, would they not be the MRA's greatest allies? Now, don't get me wrong, there are people from the feminists who are friendly with the MRAs, they actually kind of agree with them. So, again, why the hostility? You guys seem to have the same kind of goals on paper, equality for all. Yet why are the feminists trying to destroy them, attack them, and belittle them, and destroy their reputations, and say that they're misogynists, women haters, etc., etc., etc.? What threat do the MRAs actually hold to the feminists that isn't ideological? Not a great deal. They're nowhere near as big as the feminists. They are growing, but they're nowhere near as big. I think it's because, as with any power structure, within any establishment, one tiny threat will set them off and they will go berserk. Kind of like rock and roll. That was a threat to the establishment at the time, not because when it first began it was particularly political. I mean, there were certainly undertones, especially with the black singers, but overall it was more about getting down and, having fun. But that's the thing, wasn't it? Releasing people from that pent-up conservative approach to a more open society you'd see in the 60s and later. And I guess this is what's kind of happening now. The feminists kind of, in their ideological fog, they want to keep men down in a weird way. Keep things as they are, keep their female privileges, though they would never call it that. to themselves, and if men want to have a piece of that pie, no, you can't. And I guess that's why they don't like the MRAs. But still, why the vitriolic hatred? Doesn't make sense. It's kind of just come out of nowhere, but I guess that's mainly because of the current generation and kind of like model coddled, stupid, immature arseholes. You know, they're not used to debating. You know, the idea of a debate triggers them. You know, I mean, any outside argument hurts their brains. It's not because it's stupid, but it's because it's logical and reasonable. So maybe that's my reasoning. Maybe it's because the way these people have been brought up, the fact they don't have an enemy to fight apart from the mystical god that is patriarchy. So they've lashed out, and yet they call MRAs reactionary, even though they are reacting to the status quo. But this is the kind of reactionary that they're talking about. You know, lashing out, attacking people. So I guess that's it. What do you guys think? I've actually tried to look this up, but I can never find anything particularly detailed. You know, nothing academic. It's just mostly conjecture and opinions, which is fine. I guess this is what that is. But I was looking for something kind of concrete. You know, like someone actually delving into the psychological reasons and the political reasons. Because as far as I'm aware, these two people should really be like talking right now, because two sides of the same coin. Both ideologies are identity politics driven. It's the nature of the beast. But you know, who am I to judge? How am I supposed to know? Eventually, when all of this comes to pass, I guess we will find out. Maybe that's my job as a history graduate. But I don't want to touch a history book for a while. So, this has been ShamanMan93. Like, share the video. Drop a comment. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to give me your opinions, because I'd like to... This is one of several videos that I would like to expand upon. You know the ones. Eventually, somewhere down the road. So, any help from you guys would be greatly appreciated. See you later.